Good afternoon, Franz. Great to see you.
Hi, Andre. Nice to see you. Not only to see you, but actually to see you in Severance Hall in your office.
Indeed, indeed. It's been an incredible summer for you artistically. Fortunately, a very different situation in Europe where you are than where we are here in Cleveland. So tell me a little bit about how this has felt, doing Electra. I know you've done a couple of concerts before doing Electra. Tell me about your summer a little bit besides Electra.
In June, I did a couple of concerts with the Vienna Philharmonic in the Musikverein, which felt great in one way because everyone was so happy to be playing and performing again. At the same time, only 100 people were allowed into the big hall in the Musikverein. So that felt like an open rehearsal more than a performance. But still, it was wonderful to be back on that stage. And then on June 29, I started rehearsing in Salzburg for the opening night of Electra, which took place on August 1. And I have to say the Salzburg Festival did an incredible job and still does an incredible job making it as risk-free as you can. Every artist gets tested all the time. We have to keep a diary. We have to take the body temperature in the morning. So any sign of getting that virus should be caught within no time. And so far, knock on wood, I mean, we're already now way over 50% of the festival. Nothing has happened so far.
Hearing about this has been incredibly inspiring as we're looking towards our own reopening. And obviously we're in a different place in Cleveland or in America than they are in Europe, but we are certainly looking forward to this same incredible return and this joy of coming back and hearing the music again, which is a good segue into talking about our fall season. It's been quite the journey you and I have been through, and the entire team here over the past few months. And but finally, we have, I think, plans that we believe are really going to take place. As we've discussed, of course, it's going to be first without an audience, the first 5 programs this fall that we've put together. They will be streamed. We have a name for it. It will be called the Cleveland Orchestra in Focus. And really, we want to create, something special. Clearly, playing without an audience is not what this is all about, but these are not normal times. And we really want to make the most of that and perhaps provide a different view of the Cleveland Orchestra and kind of a look behind the scenes. Tell us a little bit about some of these programs. You'll be conducting the first 3 of these programs in the fall. Tell us about what you find exciting and what you've tried to do with this music.
First of all, the limitations are such that at first unfortunately, we cannot have wind players on the stage. The good news is that we can have all the strings on stage. We can have percussion on stage. So we went backwards and forwards, as you said. But as you know, I like challenges, and it's stimulating when you have these limitations. And nevertheless, you have to think about programs which are very much Cleveland, and show the orchestra at its best. And in that sense, Mark Williams and I looked at it. We always pride ourselves in the chamber music approach we have for the entire repertoire. But so we will have in the first 2 weeks strings only. The first week is a piece by Respighi called Ancient Airs and Dances, which refers back to Renaissance music, Monteverdi, but Respighi was sort of the Italian impressionist, if you want. And then a piece by George Walker, Antiphonies for strings. And it was Mark Williams' idea, and I embraced it immediately, also because there's a connection to us. He went to Oberlin College, and he then became the first African-American composer, receiving a Pulitzer Prize, and he was voted onto the American Academy of Arts and Letters. So he's really, he has been and should be still, after he passed away a couple of years ago, he should be a prominent figure in American music life. We finished that first program with Tchaikovsky's originally sextet, Souvenir de Florence. Has been done with chamber orchestra before, and we played with our full string section. The second week, we welcome back, and I'm really full of joy that he will come. Fima Bronfman, one of our artistic, a member of our artistic family, will come and play the Schnittke piano concerto for piano and strings, and we're going to play, like we did some years ago, Beethoven String Quartet Opus 132. With our full string section, we are going to do the string quartet Opus 74, called the Harp Quartet, even though there's no harp in it, but some of that music reminds of a harp. And then in the third week, we are trying to get 4 of our wind players back, 2 oboes, 2 horns, as it stands right now. And in these times, you never know, things might change. And hopefully many acts will come back and play the Genome Concerto by Mozart, the Piano Concerto No. 9. If he can't make it, we will substitute it with Mozart Symphony No. 21, the famous A major symphony, and then we're going to play Bartók, music for strings, percussion, and celeste. So these are the plans. It's, as I said, it's very much Cleveland Orchestra programming, and some of the pieces you probably will have never heard in Severance Hall. But I can assure you it's all really outstanding, great music.
So the first 2 programs, strings and percussion. The third program, we start reintroducing winds. And then Franz, you go back to Austria for a few weeks, and then we will have 2 guest conductors to finish the fall season, the 4th and 5th programs. Bernard Labadie, who's been here very often, will do a program of classical works with Beethoven and Mendelssohn, and then John Adams, the celebrated composer whose works, of course, Franz has performed on a regular basis, will be back conducting the orchestra. So 5 programs that we're very proud of. As mentioned before, we will be streaming each of these programs free of charge for all of our subscribers, all of our donors of a certain level. And we certainly hope that when we come back after that in January, that we're able to play for a limited audience. But as Franz said, flexibility is the name of the game here. And really, we're doing everything we can to be on stage, to be performing. As we speak, Franz, this morning, we have musicians in the hall, as you may know, filming and recording some chamber music that will be broadcasting a little bit later on. And there's this incredible joy again, similar to what you were describing about Salzburg, this joy of being back in the hall, of making music again. And then you just realize how much our musicians have missed playing together, you know, and which brings kind of a last question for me. I'm curious for you to talk a little bit about any kind of concern or anxiety about the orchestra having been so long without playing together. What's it going to be like that first week when they get back together?
You know, when the Vienna Philharmonic asked me if I would do some concerts in June with them, and the chairman of the Vienna Philharmonic said, yeah, we don't know. I mean, we haven't played together for so long. And I was concerned, to be honest. But, you know, if you have great musicians, within no time, everything you have worked on for years and years comes back quickly. It's, you know, you never forget how to ride a bicycle. And it's the same here. My experience with the Vienna Philharmonic has been, and I know that even more so, our orchestra, the Cleveland Orchestra, will be so quick in going back to where we had to leave it off. And I just ask everyone to be patient. That's one of the things which we need to be in these days, but great music remains great music, and even though we have to wait a little for it, it makes it even more enjoyable.
We're grateful to our friends at the Vienna Philharmonic to have, you know, to have kept you busy and that you've been able to make some music with them. But let's face it, your place really is on the podium here in Cleveland. And we can't wait to have you back and to be playing some wonderful music for our audiences. So Franz, a big thank you again. Happy birthday, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you very much. And I can't tell you how much I've missed everyone in Cleveland. The musicians, you, André, even though we speak on a regular basis via Zoom meetings, but it's not the same. And meeting people in person, all the friends of the orchestra, my personal friends, I'm counting not just the days, I'm counting the hours till I can get back.